I definitely have been going through stages of like, do I actually have it though, or am I just overthinking this? But then when I sit there and a doctor's literally saying to me like, you have quite a high chance of having ADHD, you feel so seen and you feel so validated in your experience. And like when all the people around you that know you so well are invalidating your experience, it can actually feel very lonely and very like, why don't you believe me? Like, you don't believe that I know myself, okay? Hello guys and gals. So I've just had my DIVA 5 appointment, which, if you don't know what that is, I didn't know what it is, to be honest. I don't really understand the term of it, but I just had my first proper appointment with the ADHD clinic. I forgot to mention I'm chosen a clinic called Beyond, and they're based in Warrington. So I've just rushed up here to do this video before I forgot, but yeah, so I just had my appointment with my first get your words out. Why can't I get my words out? It's annoying. So I had my first appointment. Obviously I filled all the forms out. I had to fill my own personal form out with lots of questions. It's me signing a contract with them. I had to get someone in my life that's known me for my whole life to fill out a form, which I just got my mum and dad to fill out. And then I had to do a QB check, which is an online test. This first appointment with one of the people from the clinic was today. It's called a DIVA 5 assessment. And basically all it was one of the ladies there who's a doctor was asking me all the questions. Pretty much all the questions were like the same questions as what were in the assessment form that I had to fill out initially. And then also the same sort of questions that were in my mum and dad's form that they filled out. Standard kind of questions that they would ask for ADHD. So yeah, it was quite interesting because she was like, just answer yes or no to these. But obviously I couldn't just say yes or no. I was like, yeah, but this, and then also this and also that. So yeah, but it went all right. She explained to me my QB check results. So the QB check was the test that I did before I had this assessment. The QB check is basically an ADHD specific test that you have to do online, and all it is that you have two shapes in two different colours flashing on the screen to you. So you have either red or blue as a colour, and the shapes are either a square or a circle. And basically what happens is they flash different images at you, which are the shapes, and you have to basically press the space bar if you see the same shape with the same colour. So if it was like red circle, red square, then I press the space bar, red square, then I press the space bar, and then it goes blue circle, I wouldn't press a space bar then. So that's how the test goes, and it goes on for 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And honestly, I did a 1 minute like pre-test just to kind of get a feel for it, because you have to. And I was already like, how am I going to do this for 20 minutes? This is a lot. And it really stressed me out. It was really stressful, just because one, I was overstimulated. It was way too close to my face. The screen was hurting my eyes. They were telling me to keep both my feet on the floor flat, keep sitting up straight and try not to move. And already I was like, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do that. And then what I did to start the test, I was like repeating what I was seeing, so it stayed in my brain. But then I stopped doing that for some reason, and then I started thinking about something else, and then I started thinking about how much my eyes were hurting, and then I was thinking about how much it's hurting my brain. It's like a really easy test, but it was just like overstimulating for me in so many ways, and I definitely fidgeted a lot because I was uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
Anyway, at the end of this DIVA 5 assessment that I've just had with the lady, she basically asked me all the questions, and we had some time at the end, and she was like, do you want your results for your QB check? And I was like, yes. What? Because you don't get your results, it just goes straight to the clinic. And she said there's no right or wrong. It tracks your movement, and it also tracks like how many you got right and all that kind of stuff. So it tracks like hyperactivity and impulsivity. And she said that 50% of the population, I think in the UK, I'm probably going to butcher this a little bit, but 50% of the population in the UK don't have ADHD. She reckons it's a little bit higher than that, and I agree with her. There's 7% that definitely have ADHD, and then I think it was like the rest of that was like people that potentially have like autism, Asperger's, OCD, bipolar, all that kind of stuff. And she said you have to score higher than 50% for it to be a potential yes for ADHD, and I scored 90%. 90. which is really fucking high. I was like, oh my God. I actually was really shocked. She can't give me the diagnosis. The diagnosis will come when I have my psychiatrist appointment, which is in September. So it's currently the 12th of August today, and then on the 3rd of September, my psychiatrist appointment is going to be a couple of hours long, and then he will actually diagnose me with whatever he thinks I've got. But the diagnosis has to come from him. But she said, basing your answers from your DIVA 5 assessment just now and your QB check, it seems to me that you potentially have hyperactivity ADHD, which I was like, oh, fuck. So I kind of was quite shocked about that, because I knew I have hyperactivity tendencies 100%. If you've watched my videos on my channel and you watch my vlogs specifically, I think you would be able to tell that I definitely have some sort of hyperactivity within just 1, how quickly I talk sometimes, 2, how much I use my hands when I talk, 3, how many tangents I go on, like, just, yeah. I think you'll be able to tell. But I had a feeling, I was like, oh, if they're going to diagnose me, it might be hyperactivity and inattentiveness, because I definitely can disassociate at times. Because yeah, I almost find that like people with ADHD can be a little bit contradictory, because you really love to hear like music, you can listen to a podcast whilst you're working, but then if you're listening to the sounds of the office and you can hear everyone typing and you can hear other people's music and you can hear other people talking, that's really overstimulating, and you can't work or function properly when you're hearing that. But as soon as you put your headphones on and you're listening to something that you like, you can function. So it's kind of a little bit like that, you know what I'm saying? So I can be really, really overproductive and work, like constantly be doing something, and kind of feel like I need to always be doing something, and feel guilty when I'm not doing something. But then I can also be the other spectrum, where I can literally burn myself out and I can just be like in bed all day watching movies, because I'm so tired. I'm just like, I cannot deal. So it's very contradictory, but it's just the way the brain works. And it's not a trend, man. Like I'm literally coming to this point where I'm like, ADHD is not a trend, and people are, it's actually triggering for me knowing that I've got it, and people kind of not believing me, because they're like, oh, it's just a trend, it's just what people are saying on social media. And it's like, this is actually affecting my life, this is actually affecting me as a person. I'm struggling with this at the moment. This is why I'm actually paying the money to go privately, because I need to know, I need to have things in place for myself that can help support me in my life going forward. And especially when it's hereditary, if I have children, it's better that I know this myself. So if I do have children, there might be a potential that they have it. So like, I've got to think about these things. I like to be planned when it comes to my future, organised. So yeah, anyway, that's the update on the ADHD assessment. So the next time you'll see me will be when I am going up north to Warrington to this appointment, and I will find out my diagnosis from that point. So we'll see what happens, but that will be a fun little journey, because I'm obviously driving up to Warrington. I've got a family up there, so I'm going to be staying with my uncle and my auntie. I'm going to be going to see my cousin. I'm going to see my granddad as well, bless his little heart. And yeah, I'm getting the assessment, so it should be a very fun packed period of time. I definitely have been going through stages of like, do I actually have it though, or am I just overthinking this? But then when I sit there and a doctor's literally saying to me like, you have quite a high chance of having ADHD, it just makes you think, like, you feel so seen and you feel so validated in your experience. And like, when all the people around you that know you so well are invalidating your experience, it can actually feel very lonely and very like, why don't you believe me? Like, you don't believe that I know myself, okay? So yeah, I think it's gonna kind of be quite a surprise. I don't know, because I could say all this to say, but the psychiatrist is basically, apparently the reason that they use psychiatrists is so that the psychiatrist can differentiate between whether it is a trauma response, whether it's actually like you've had a lot of trauma in your life and this is why you're like this, which I think I know someone in my life who's had a lot of trauma that is like this. But they're basically trying to understand that, whether it's just trauma, whether it's something else. Or a psychiatrist can kind of figure out whether it's like ADHD, autism, OCD, dyslexia, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it will be very in depth. So that's when I'll know my full diagnosis. And yeah, they apparently need to make sure that what they're telling you and what they're learning about you is correct, and then you can put things in place in your life going forward from then on. So yeah, I feel good right now because I feel like I've been very productive today. I've been very efficient with everything, which is, I don't always have days like this, but I feel like I'm on the ball. So I feel quite good. I'm like, cool, man. I just need to get like 2 videos edited, but I've got the whole weekend as well to do that because I have a free weekend finally. Yay, I'm so excited to just be doing nothing. It's gonna be so nice. Oh, I say doing nothing, I'm never doing nothing, I'm always doing editing, but just not having to be anywhere, like having, you know, places to be and people to see. I can just be here and just get my work done, which I really love. So anyway, I'll see you all soon. It's gonna be like weeks for me and it's gonna be seconds for you. Peace, see ya.